You hear me? Clear? All right, good. So, good morning, everybody, and thank you for setting the context so beautifully. I think this is a great forum and a great setting of understanding how do we really make a difference. Okay, sorry, I can hear my echo. um,
Because everybody is echoing your thoughts, so.
Please echo my thoughts. So, I am here representing Ink Women. If you don't know about Ink Women, please look up Ink Talks. I think Ink Talks is a larger platform like TED Talks in India. Lakshmi Praturi, who's the founder, got Ink into India. In fact, she got TED into India and then formed Ink Talks. And I am now taking charge of Ink Women's space in particular. And like Madan said, we need to start with the young ones, and that's the opportunity that I'm latching on to. But I can only tell you, we can only look at them first when we understand ourselves. And I think this journey of firstly understanding ourselves, our own potential, our own vision, our own space that we want to operate from, and of course the bigger thing is also what do we really want to do to change the narrative. I think the bigger idea is that, and then to amplify as many voices as possible. So I'm just going to do that and more of whatever is left of me. And I also have a company called Second Act, so I said whatever is left of me in my second act, and that's what I'm going to do. So.
Super. We'll come back to more conversations, but Vivek, your opening thoughts.
Yeah, so I was listening to Manish and to Madan, and for me it was like they are talking about thesis of my fund, Samved. We as a group very strongly believe that in India there is disparity. We all are aware of that. We have, I'm sure most of you have heard of this phrase of India 1, India 2, India 3. We have this 150 million Indians at the top who are doing extremely well. Then we have this cohort of another 700 or maybe 800 million Indians who we call the aspiring class. They are the ones who have the aspirations, they have the exposure, but unfortunately they don't have the kind of disposable income that we would want them to have. And if you look what has happened elsewhere, it is when your per capita goes from 2500, which we have currently, when it goes to 4000 and then maybe higher, this is the class, the consumption of this class is which will drive India. If we are at 3.5 trillion and we have to go to 10 trillion, that will not happen unless the consumption of this cohort of 700 million at least grows 10 times. So that is a strong thesis that we have at the fund, that India will grow only if the consumption of the India 2 grows. And that's where I think something like Bharat comes in. We need founders who understands this, the set of these people, they understand their problem and are working on that. And as an investor, I have seen that if you are able to come up with a product or a service for India too, which is very, very value conscious, I won't say price conscious, they are very, very value conscious. If you can come up with a service or a product for them, then the sky is the limit. And I have been privileged enough, and it humbles me to see extremely smart founders who are looking at those problems, coming up with innovative solutions, and are seeing amazing traction. And that was the reason for putting this fund together, that can we identify such founders who are working for the problems of this cohort, and that problem could be in all aspects. So whether it's education, whether it's agriculture, whether it's upskilling, health, savings, finance, everything that this cohort touches, if you come up with a service or a product, then the sky is the limit. That's my strong thesis. I'll just give one quick example that I'm very proud to be working with. There is this, and again, the thing is these founders are coming from the tier 2, tier 3 towns because that's where the real problems are. And the tailwind is that we have this whole fantastic ecosystem which has come up because of the UPI, because of the ONDC. Yamma Yatri is here. So this whole tailwind is there, which is allowing these founders to work and create beautiful solutions. So we met this founder from Lucknow of all places, and he comes from a very fascinating background. He is from I'm Lucknow, but for 2 years he had taken a gap in his education because of his family's financial thing, and he used to run a push cart, thela, ready, and he was selling burger tikkis in one of the railway stations there. He understood that problem. When he came back to academics, topped his district, went to Hansraj, gold medalist there from IIM Lucknow, had a job in the Big Five consulting, but left all of that to start this startup from Lucknow. And all he's doing is basically he's created an app which can aggregate the demand from these push carts, and he ensures that he gives them the supply early in the morning so that they don't have to get up and do the procurement. So easy solution, but when you look at the way he's going about it, the way he's aggregating, he's using all the best of technologies to do that. It really is amazing, and I see examples after examples of that. There are startups which are coming up in places like Jaipur. I'm invested in 4 startups in Jaipur. There are startups from Dehradun, from Meerut. I work closely with the incubator at IIT Kanpur, my alum, and it is amazing. I completely echo what Manish and Madan have said, that the next decade belongs to India. It belongs to the founders from the India, to the people who are on the ground, who are looking at the problems. I don't believe there's something like remote India anymore. We all are connected. We all have aspirations. So that I find is very, very fascinating.
I think before I bring in Shashank, just wanted to reflect on one thing that you said. See, the point is sometimes, and I'm speaking honestly here, that we feel that we are doing them a favor. And sometimes when I speak to folks, they said, oh, but, they need it. I said, boss, we need them more than they need us, right? And to an extent, I think this India 1, India 2, India 3 will get totally reversed. Right? Who's India 1, who's India 2, who's India 3 is up for questions, Talking about consumption, I built OneBridge 8 years ago when we were doing barely like 300 packets a day using some 10 delivery boys. And today we are one of India's largest last mile for rural deliveries for consumption, where we're doing almost about 18 million packages an annum. Right? And the demand is just shooting through the roof. More importantly, we're able to pull out about 50 crores of income for people, for youth from that region who don't have to necessarily migrate to a Hubli or a Bangalore, right? So the point is that there is massive economic opportunity, there's massive aspirations, there is talent, and technology is reaching deep. It still has to go more, but it's available. And I think if we view it as a framework where we can see, listen, there is an opportunity that needs to be stoked, and we all need to play a role, rather than like this saying I'm going to give something. The whole paradigm changes, and in that context, Shashank, what you built with the Dehat is truly tapping into the opportunity for growth in the hinterland. So love to bring you into the conversation and share your perspectives.
So on your question again, I don't know what has to be done, what needs to be done, I think, but maybe if I just see and take reference from my own journey, I think 2-3 things really help. And again, in general, for example, and nothing related to startup first side. I mean, even getting into IIT, that used to be a very big thing, let's say where I come from, right? I mean, especially when not just in your village, but maybe 10, 20 village, or the neighboring village, nobody had ever gone to IIT.
Yeah.
How it happened? It's just like, somebody came and he said that, that if you get into IIT, you will make a lot of money. Right? And probably when you were in class 5 or 6. And then somehow basically it got stuck.
Yeah.
So, and then at the same time, again, when I started Dehat back in 2010 and 11, and obviously we can understand that thinking about building startup back in 2011, that too in agri, that too in Bihar, that too a full stack, which is a complete seeds to market, right? Which probably in India nobody had ever thought of building that in a crop agnostic manner. But I think it was definitely a madness, right? It was crazy. But that's how it always happens. But the similarity between both the stories is a kind of mission. Whether it's self-discovered or it's given by others, again, that after some point of time, that doesn't matter. But if some mission basically again somehow you get as an individual, and then rest everything, the entire path forward, the challenges, all the problems, I think then as an individual, we all just figure out. I think important is that how strongly we are sold to that mission. And that's exactly happened, right? I mean, in case of the Dehatis, it was just a thought that while in India we have more than 100 million farmers, while our 14-15% GDP comes from agriculture, why again a large, very sizable and sustainable business model cannot be built around farmers. How it has to be done, what will be the challenges, what will be the model, again at that point in time that was not known. But I think it's just like that one mission which got stuck, which is stuck. And I think rest everything obviously we figured out. In fact, just 2 days ago we completed 13 years. So you can understand that what all again must have we might have gone through, right, in terms of the change in the ecosystem, in terms of the overall circumstances and all those things, right? But the important part is that we are progressing. Important is that now we have reached to a stage where we are working with more than 10 million farmers, when we have our presence in 128,286 villages of India.
Wow.
When our annual business is again more than $500 million. But again, the whole point is that there is absolutely no change in that state of mind and that mission, right? And hence, basically, again, the mind is tuned and programmed that again, still number of challenges you have to face, you will be facing. But again, I'm sure things should be done. Somehow you will figure out. So one answer is the mission. And in a way, I think here also we are just trying to do something same, which is just so-called catalyzing that mission to someone, right? So as I said, that whether it's self-discovered or someone else, doesn't matter. But mission is very important. And two is the success stories, right? We all are human beings. So it always gives us a lot of, I would say, motivation when we see like-minded people or people with similar capabilities, similar background and doing something better, right? So that always helps. It's a human nature. So the success stories, that is one thing. I mean, that is something which has always helped us while building Dehat. And for example, when in our business, it's all built, or the crux or the driver of the business is to add more farmers, add more rural entrepreneurs, and where basically again it takes a lot of effort to win their trust. But over the ages, over the time, over the years, I think this one common thing what we have always felt that that you create more and more success stories, things become easier. Very again not related to startup, right? But very different story. We, for example, I'm talking about back in 2017. We had one driver, Gautam ji. And imagine he was driver in Delhi. So he migrated from Bihar, he was working in Delhi as a driver. And obviously his wife and 2 kids, they were in the village. You can understand their lifestyle and all those things. But then he came to Patna because we have been operating out of Patna. He became driver because that was his core profession. So then he used to go with us for all the farmers training and everything. I used to feel very bad कि हम 5-6 घंटे farmers की training करते हैं, ये गाड़ी में बैठे रहते हैं. So then out of, again with no background, without thinking much, I just told him that since anyways you are attending all these farmers training, so in 6 months from now, you have to understand all the crops, what you will be listening during that farmers training. So you don't have to sit in the car, you have to attend the farmers training, and after 6 months, I will ask the details of all the crops and agricultural practices. And obviously in those 6 months, basically he must have seen many success stories that that how farmers are basically changing their life, how basically again Dehat is helping those farmers to increase their income, how somebody from the local community is coming forward and becoming a micro entrepreneur and living a good life for that matter as a local change agent or whatsoever. Forget about 6 months, 4 months from now, he gave me the keys. Well, sir, I'm done. Now I want to start my own Dehat center.
Lovely.
And then he obviously, so imagine that's something what he has been doing for last 17 years. And then he left that thing. He became a Dehat micro entrepreneur. Today, when we have 14,200 micro entrepreneurs, he must be in top 50.
Wow.
So and again, I can go on and on, but I think for me, these two things which really help, and I'm sure these two things will keep helping us because still it's just a beginning for us as Dehat, is one mission, very, very strong mission, lifelong mission. And then two is success story. Success stories in any form. Success stories maybe as a catalyst. Success story maybe as a community, as a fellow entrepreneur, or maybe a startup or an investor, whatever.
Wonderfully said. Wonderfully said. Given that this is a conversation and a dialogue, let's go to the other side of the conversation. Love to get in your thoughts. We have another 7-8 minutes. So if you can keep your questions or comments crisp, we'll come back for one final take on the panel. Anybody? If you can have the mics go on, please. Yeah. Okay, so while we wait for hands, maybe Vivek, I want to bring you in to what Shashank said. I think, sorry, let me maybe, or no, let's go back. We'll come back to that question. We'll come back here first.
So my name is Mahesh.
Yes.
I'm from Hyderabad. I have an AI startup. So is it early to dilute the equity in a startup stage? That's my question.
Is it early to dilute?
Dilute the equity.
Okay. We'll come back to when do you really need to raise money? Okay. There. We'll go back there and we'll come back to you.
Morning everyone, my name is Karthik Kittu. I've been working in building the startup ecosystem. Question was that we are all looking at the hub and spoke models from a tier 1 city to maybe Hubli and others. But the real entrepreneurship lies maybe in the hinterlands, as we said, wherein maybe some of those jugaad innovations that are there in many places also have to be formalized. So it's time to move downwards, and like you rightly said, Gadak, and many other places. So how do you think this model should be there to really build inclusive, innovative incubators for Bharat?
Okay. How do you build innovative incubators for Bharat rather than just looking at hub and spoke? Thank you. Yes, sir. Yeah.
Key differences in the founder personality traits between founders coming from Bharat and founders coming from India one.
Okay. Do you see key personality traits differences between founders from tier 3, tier 4 and tier 1? Okay, we'll probably take a couple more questions and
Hi.
yes, he has the mic. We'll come back there.
Padmaraj here from Falatic Private Limited. So usually in urban areas, right, so money flows and then they build the technology and then the trust will build in, and that's how we get momentum is gained. So in Bharat, what we're observing is there's a first trust have to build in, quickly followed by technology and the money. Or what is the order according to you?
Great question. Okay, maybe Shashank, you can take that as let's take in the two questions and we'll come back for a final comments.
Hi, my name is Somveer. I work at the Innovation Mission Punjab. So we work with a lot of entrepreneurs all across the board. So we work with people from Chandigarh, from Mohali, Ludhiana, the bigger cities, and then across the smaller cities. Our biggest issue is trying to tell an entrepreneur, don't be an entrepreneur. And I wanted to ask you how you do that, because there is a time. I mean, so in a room of 30, in your place, 2 people picked up their hands. In our place, out of 30, all 30 will pick up their hand. They all want to do something on their own. So it's how do you actually segment those people who you think will it's beneficial for them to do something versus guys you think that they should just probably take a job, better their financial situation at home, build a base, and then take that leap of faith.
Sure.
That
So
is
when
a-
do you really start off? Yeah, and we'll take one last question there, please.
Hi, my name is Bharat. I'm founder of AgCane. We're working with farmers in North Karnataka, trying to help them increase the yield through satellite technology. We're working at the grassroots level. So my question is, I've met a lot of farmers in small towns, small villages. We're trying to convert them into entrepreneurs. I see a lot of them interested. They really want to go about, like one of the gentlemen said, how do we get them started? And what I see is in every of the villages and towns, there are these job opportunity areas where they can go and sign themselves up. Can we have something similar for entrepreneurs who are interested to know who are interested in being entrepreneurs? I mean, I'm at 2030 in a single small town who want to do, but I mean, we are a startup. We don't have that type of a width to go and help each of them. But they want to do just planting. They know agriculture. One wants to do sandalwood farming. One wants to do something else, something else, something else. But how do we really tap into this is something that we need to more organized mechanism for this entire sector to develop is what I think.
Sure.
Your thoughts on that, please. Thank you.
Thank you. How do you organize it in such a way that it's easier? Why don't we start off maybe in any random order or even if you want to just summarize some thoughts, we have a few minutes, about a minute each.
I think the first question was
Yeah.
on the dilution.
Yeah.
So that I think what you need to understand is that if you're raising money at different stages, you will have different set of investors who will come in. My experience have been that at the early stage, it would be your friends and family who will come to support you. Once you have a product, then there will be early stage VCs or angels will come and support you. And then if you find market fit and you are growing, then the growth capital will come. What you need to be aware of, and there is no right or wrong here, but at each stage you will get diluted. And now over a period of time, there is a range that how much you should be diluting at each stage. You can talk to some of the people who have been through that journey. They will give you a basic breakup. You can talk to anybody who is in the investing space, especially VC. They would be able to tell you that how much you should be diluting at each stage. But primarily there is one stage which we call the stage where you are trying to figure out what you want to do. Second is the stage where you are getting the traction from the market, and then third is the growth stage. So depending upon the stage, what you are raising and what you are diluting gets decided by that. So that is my crux to that.
Sure.
There was one question that I want to definitely take you. What's the difference between the
Yes.
founders of India 1 and India 2?
Yeah.
See, there are certain traits in every founder which every investor will look for. That you have to be mission driven, you have to be very, very good. Because at the end of the day, startup by definition is about the founder. Everybody who's coming, whether it's the investors, whether it's the co-founder, whether it's the employee, and I would say even the first set of customers will come because who you are as a founder. So you need to have the personality that is common across. I mean, unless you are a very strong person, you will not succeed. But what's the difference between 1 and 2 is that what we have normally seen is that the people who are from India 2 have lived the problem, they empathize with the cohort that they are working for. Their understanding of the problem is very, very deep and they are in the missionary mode. That is what I have realized and that is what I look forward to. Have the founder, what is his empathy to the problem that he's trying to solve. Many times otherwise it's like me too, this has happened in US or this has happened in China and now it will happen in India, therefore I want to do it. That is not there in the founders from India 2, India 3. It is more like I have faced this problem, people in my community have faced this problem and I want to solve it. So that mission mode is different from the founders in India.
Yep.
I think I'll add my perspective for women in the
Yeah.
tier 2
Yeah.
and tier 1. So I think the tier 2, as we work more and more with women, is more to do with the aspirational space, the fire in them. Like you said, you asked in some institution, and there were 2 women founders or entrepreneurs. So I think there is the need to show up and show and believe in your potential, and that's coming up more and more from the smaller towns because I think the kind of platform we get in the tier 1, there is no match right now to what the tier 2, tier 3 are facing. But the sky's the limit, I think, and I think we see a lot in that.
Wonderful. And Archana, while I have you, what will it take for us to, there was this thing about how do we inspire entrepreneurs? How do you get them started? Right. What will it take for us to tell the stories of these women entrepreneurs in a much better way? Inc. is the master of storytelling, yes. Right? What are your thoughts on how should we amplify stories of women entrepreneurs from tier 3, tier 4 towns?
Like I said, it all starts by believing in yourself. And I think stories come from that. If you believe in the kind of intention that you're building, the kind of thing that you're serving, the kind of platform that you want to build. But it all starts from, do I believe in myself? Do I really have that confidence? Which probably, I'm not conditioned to believe in. As a woman, I'm like put in so many roles and blocks and, the stereotypes. Am I able to break that and just, shine on? And I think that is what it is.
Excellent. In the interest of actions, can I propose, and maybe we'll work with Deshpande Startups, I'll bring in the Thai ecosystem. Why don't we do a Inc. Women talk in Gadag at the RDPR University in a couple of months? Absolutely. Right? And bring in stories of women entrepreneurs from that region. Absolutely. And you should ensure that these talks get 1 million hits through the Inc. platform. So let's take that up as an action item. Maybe in April, May, we will plan something out.
In fact,
in Gadag.
Uncanny that it is, we are planning a Million March Mind
Lovely.
as a platform. The idea is to have 1 million people at least watch the spectacle of course, I can't say Women's Day anymore. Yeah. I want to say an equal day.
Yeah.
But till the time we get there, it's a Million Mind March. Many people, many
Beautiful.
voices, as many can amplify.
Let's do that. Yeah. Shashank, over to you. Maybe the question about trust technology.
I would say maybe this is a question of Gopal sir and the other guys. In my view, I think you require best of both worlds. Because obviously India 1 is always top down, India 2 is bottom up. I think first few years you require the traits of India 2, and which is resilience. You will not be getting any result, but still you will be as enthusiastic as you were on day 0. But after some point of time, basically you require basically again traits which are always seen in India 1 founders as well. I mean, very again my own story. And coincidentally, in fact, I was in the valley in SF when I met very first time Desh there. And then at his house, somebody asked that, what's your vision? And those days we used to work with 2,800 farmers. So somebody asked, like, what's your vision? So, like, being a first generation entrepreneur, somebody like very veteran, successful entrepreneur investor was asking, like, I took my like entire breath and I said, we want to work with 100,000 farmers. And he's like, what? Like, we want to work with 100,000 farmers. So from 2,800 to 100,000, still that was a huge jump. And then he said, India has 100 million farmers. You are thinking about just 100,000 farmers. So then the next obvious answer was, sir, we don't have money. So then he said that's the reason why you don't have money. So I think that's the difference between the India 1 and 2. But yes, at the same point, like maybe to your question, first 9 years, we were bootstrapped. Can you imagine that we raised just 1 crore in first 8 years?
Wow.
And then when we felt that no, probably now we are ready to grow, now we are ready for scaling up, then we ended up with raising more than $220 million in the next 3 years or so.
Wow.
So I think dono chahiye hoga, sir.
Totally. Beautifully said. So let's we are out of time, wrap up. In the interest of action again, make one commitment, maybe 2028 startup dialogue, you should come and say somewhere there's invested, let's say 10 crores into startups from North Karnataka. Right? How can we make that happen? Can we do that through the entire Deshpande Startups team here? And can we have those entrepreneurs up on the stage?
I mean, I met 2, I'm meeting.
Lovely. So you're already on. You're saying, why wait 3 years? Let's do it in the next 1 year itself. Excellent. And Shashank, one promise that I would love to extract from you is especially our young entrepreneurs who want to be in the agri space, and we'll work with some of them. I would love to have them come and spend an hour with you to be inspired by what's happening at Dehat. Maybe we can even create some Dehat fellowship for them to help them to understand farmers' problems. I'll come back to figure out what we can do.
Last week I was in Gadag.
Lovely.
So, anyways, we are about to launch the Heart in Karnataka.
Wonderful.
In and around, you will see me very often.
Lovely.
Whenever you want, it's possible.
Excellent. So we'll take you up on the Gadag thing. Next time you're in Gadag, you'll be surrounded by at least 25 entrepreneurs who are there, who will be inspired by you. So on that note, friends, it sets, I think, a fantastic conversation for the day. I won't leave you guys without an action item. Okay, what I would want you to do is before lunchtime, building a founder's first ecosystem for Bharat, pick up a pen and a paper, just leave your ideas on what we can do together, pen it down, drop it off at the desk, right? What we will do is with Sandeep, we will collate all of that. We'll put together some thoughts where we can pull in each of you into this founders first ecosystem for Bharat, maybe starting with North Karnataka itself. And let's figure out what we can do from there. Thank you very much. India is changing. We heard 3 things happening. Purpose-driven entrepreneurship. We're finding a lot more young people who are mission and purpose-driven. Shashank is a classic example of that. We're finding democratization of capital. You have Vivek who's sitting here and saying, don't come and meet me in Bangalore. He says, I'm going to Gadag and invest. And you're seeing democratization of technology, where technology is not held close as IP, but is open networks. You have Nama Yatri as a great example here, and many others. So technology is changing, access to capital is changing, mindsets are changing. Apna time aayega nahi, aa raha hai. It is right now and here. Let's truly make Bharat India one, and where we should all be relocating from Bangalore to Bharat. It will also ease Bangalore's traffic problems quite a lot, right? So thank you very much. Have a great day ahead. Lovely having this conversation with all of you.
Thank you all. Thank you all. Thank you for such a wonderful conversation. Ladies and gentlemen, please give them one more round of big applause. I request you all to stay back on the stage for a minute. We were thinking how different can we make the memento session for this event, and that's when we came across Sankalpataru Foundation. And for everyone's knowledge, Sankalpataru Foundation plants a tree on behalf of either an individual or a corporate, and they take care of it. So we thought, what better way to do that here? So we have got some certificates which talks about where your trees will be planted. And for this event, we have chosen the site in Chikmagaluru. So you can scan the QR code and know where the tree has been planted, and go and visit it once if you think you can. Yeah, lovely. Thank you so much. May we have the certificates, please? And I request Ms. Anju to come on stage and kindly hand over the certificates to our esteemed panelists today. Sanju Gupta, President, Ivy Camp. May we all stand for a group photograph, please? Yep. There you go. Thank you. May we request you all to join the audience?